You ever get that strange, almost unexplainable feeling? Like the universe just placed something in your life at the exact moment you needed it most? Like you've been wandering in the dark for months, maybe even years, bumping into the same walls, repeating the same cycles, and then suddenly, someone flips on the light. Everything becomes visible. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's readiness. And if you found your way here, if something, anything, pulled you to this moment right now, then listen carefully. You've already crossed a line you didn't even know existed. You've moved from wanting change to actually being ready for it. And those two things, they are not even close to the same. Most people live their entire lives in the space of wanting to feel different, wanting better relationships, wanting more money, wanting clarity, purpose, direction. But wanting is passive. Wanting is comfortable. It allows you to dream about transformation without ever stepping into the discomfort it demands. But readiness is different. Readiness is unsettling. It shakes you because it means something very real. You've run out of excuses. You've reached that point where staying the same hurts more than changing ever could. Here's the truth nobody really talks about. Readiness doesn't arrive with fireworks. It doesn't come with a perfect plan, or a motivational speech, or some dramatic, "this is your moment" sign. It shows up quietly, and most of the time, it disguises itself as exhaustion. You wake up one day and you're just tired. Not physically tired, but deeply, internally exhausted. Tired of your own patterns. Tired of repeating the same mistakes. Tired of having the same conversations in your head. Tired of feeling like you're watching your life instead of actually living it. And that exhaustion, that's not weakness. That's your soul saying, enough. And that's when everything begins to shift. Not because the world suddenly changed overnight, but because you stopped pretending that where you are is where you want to stay. You stop tolerating things that quietly drain you. You stop calling mediocrity peace. You stop convincing yourself that settling is maturity. You start seeing things for what they really are. And here's something powerful to remember. You didn't just arrive here randomly. You've been preparing for this moment longer than you realize. Every disappointment that didn't break you, every time you stood back up when you wanted to quit, every moment you kept going when it made no sense to continue, that wasn't pointless. That was training. That was building something inside you. Not just hope, not just motivation, but something deeper, resilience. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't need constant reassurance. The kind that just knows, I can handle what comes next. But here's where most people get stuck. They wait to feel ready. They think readiness is confidence, or clarity, or having all the answers. It's not. Readiness isn't a feeling. It's a decision. It's the moment you stop asking, am I ready? And start asking, what am I going to do next? Let me tell you what readiness actually looks like. It's messy. It's starting before you feel prepared. It's making moves with incomplete information. It's choosing discomfort over dissatisfaction. It's realizing that the life you've been living, while familiar, while safe, has been slowly suffocating who you're meant to become. And that version of you, they've been waiting, quietly, patiently, not judging you, not rushing you, just waiting for you to get tired enough of your own limitations. And here's the part most people miss. You've been getting signals for years. Those random moments where you felt like there has to be more than this. Those flashes of clarity that came out of nowhere. Those gut feelings you ignored. Those ideas you dismissed as unrealistic. That was always you. But now those whispers feel louder. Not because they changed, but because you finally stopped drowning them out. You start noticing patterns you couldn't see before. You start recognizing opportunities that were always there. You start attracting different energy because you're no longer operating at the same level. And life begins to test you. Not in obvious ways, not with huge dramatic moments, but in small, everyday choices. Will you choose discipline or comfort? Will you say no to what no longer aligns, even when it's hard? Will you take responsibility for your life instead of blaming circumstances? That's where readiness is proven. Not in the big moments, but in the quiet decisions nobody else sees. And something else begins to shift, quietly at first, almost unnoticeable, but powerful enough to change everything. You stop waiting for permission, not dramatically, Not in a rebellious way, but in a calm, grounded certainty that you don't need approval anymore. You stop needing everyone to understand your decisions. You stop over-explaining your choices to people who were never really listening in the first place. You stop rehearsing conversations in your head, trying to justify your path to people who aren't walking it. And that's when it hits you. Something uncomfortable, but incredibly freeing. Most of the obstacles you've been blaming were never the real problem. Not really. It wasn't the lack of time, because you've always found time for what truly mattered. It wasn't the lack of money, because somehow, when something felt important enough, you figured it out. It wasn't the lack of support, because even when people doubted you, there was always a voice inside you that didn't. The truth? It was the lack of readiness. And that realization changes everything. Because readiness isn't about deserving more. It's not about waiting until life hands you something better. It's about becoming the kind of person who can actually hold what they've been asking for, without breaking it, without losing it, without sabotaging it. Think about it for a second. How many times have you finally gotten something you thought you wanted so badly, only to watch it fall apart? A relationship, an opportunity, a new beginning. Not because you weren't capable on the outside, but because, deep down, you didn't believe you belonged there. You questioned it. You overthought it. You pulled back when you should have leaned in. And slowly, almost invisibly, you undid the very thing you once prayed for. That's what happens when something arrives before you're ready. But when you're ready, everything changes. And I mean everything. You stop performing for the world. You stop trying to be who you think people want you to be. You stop wearing masks just to feel accepted. You stop pretending. And for the first time in a long time, you just be. No filters, no overthinking, no constant self-doubt running in the background, just presence. You begin making decisions from clarity. Instead of desperation, you no longer chase things out of fear of missing out. You don't cling to people out of loneliness. You don't say yes just to avoid discomfort. You choose intentionally. You create more than you consume. You start building something meaningful instead of endlessly scrolling, comparing, wishing. You complain less, not because life is perfect, but because you finally understand that your energy is too valuable to waste. And here's the interesting part. People start noticing, not because you're trying to stand out, but because you no longer blend in. There's something different about your presence, something calm, something certain, something grounded, because authenticity is powerful. And confidence? Confidence doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to prove anything. It moves quietly, but with undeniable purpose. And here's something you need to hear, really hear. Timing matters. Everything you went through, the failures, the delays, the moments that felt like you were being held back, none of it was wasted. You weren't being denied, you were being prepared. You weren't ready then, and that's okay. You needed those lessons. You needed those experiences. You needed to struggle in certain ways, so you could grow in others. Because strength built the easy way doesn't last. But strength earned the hard way, that becomes part of who you are. Now here comes the part most people don't expect. Readiness doesn't feel like excitement. It doesn't feel like motivation or hype. It feels like surrender, not giving up, but letting go. Letting go of the version of yourself that kept you small, the version that doubted everything, the version that hesitated, that delayed, that hid behind comfort. You don't fight that version anymore. You release it. And when that shift happens, people will notice. They'll see you setting boundaries you never set before. They'll see you walking away from things you used to tolerate. They'll see you choosing differently, even when it's uncomfortable. They'll feel your energy change. And not everyone will like it. Some people will question you. Some will misunderstand you. Some will even try to pull you back into the version of you they're familiar with. Why? Because your growth forces them to confront their own stagnation, and that makes people uncomfortable. But here's the difference now. That's not your responsibility anymore. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You stop apologizing for evolving. You stop managing other people's reactions to your transformation, because you finally understand something deeper. You cannot truly love others if you're not willing to grow yourself. But there's one more truth, and this one hits deeper than all the rest. Readiness comes with a certain kind of loneliness, not because you're alone, but because you're awake. You start seeing things differently. Conversations that once felt normal now feel empty. Old habits that once felt comfortable now feel heavy. Certain connections no longer feel aligned. And for a while, it feels like everything is falling apart, like you're losing pieces of your life, one by one. But look closer. It's not falling apart, it's clearing out. It's making space. Because before the right people can enter your life, before the right opportunities can find you, before the right version of your life can unfold, everything that doesn't belong has to leave. And yes, there will be a phase where nothing feels certain, where you don't fully recognize yourself, where the old version of you is gone, but the new one hasn't fully formed yet. It's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar, it's confusing. This is where most people turn back. They run toward what's familiar, even if it no longer fulfills them. But you don't. Stay, sit in it, grow through it. Because on the other side of that uncertainty is the version of you you've always felt inside, but never fully stepped into. The version that trusts themselves. The version that moves without hesitation. The version that doesn't need validation to feel worthy. So, if something inside you is resonating right now, if these words feel different, heavier, more real than usual, then stop asking if you're ready. You already are. Now, the real question is, what are you going to do about it? Because readiness without action is just another form of waiting, and you've done enough waiting. So this, right here, is your moment. Not later, not when it's perfect, not when you feel more confident. Now, if this spoke to you, really spoke to you, don't analyze it, don't overthink it, just say it. I'm ready. No explanation, no justification, no hesitation. Just those two words. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is make a decision and mean it. The door's open, the path is right in front of you. And now, the only question left is, are you finally ready to walk through it?